Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Conan O'Brien told a friend of the pod, Jason Zinnemann of the New York Times, that longevity is overrated. Zinnemann says the first time Conan made this point was in April at a restaurant in New York when he proposed that all statues and monuments should be made with durable soap that dissolves in 7 years. A month later, Conan declared himself anti-graveyard. So does he want to be cremated? Conan said, I want to be left in a ditch and found by a jogger. WPR spoke to Dimitri Martin about his recent special, Dimitri Deconstructed. They were curious about his use of voiceover to give the audience a sense of what it's like being Dimitri. Mr. Martin said, that speaks to the screen relationship or viewer to performer relationships that's different when you're on a screen than when you're live, because you can get in tighter depending on your coverage, which I think is interesting comedically, because now we can get a lot closer. It's a surprise sometimes that suddenly we're in tight, but then once you are closer, you can be a lot closer auditorily, so close that you can get into the performer's head with a voiceover if you can pull it off. I used it sparingly, but I think it worked pretty well. It's a simulation of the experience of being on stage, especially if you've told jokes so many times that on the show X number of times, you get accustomed to it and try to keep it fresh and present. But, you know, it's just how the human mind works. Sometimes your mind wanders and you're telling a joke, but you're thinking about, oh, crap, what time's my flight tomorrow? Hey, Mark Norman, how's your newest hour going? Mark said, it's cooking because I have short jokes. That bestiality joke, that took months to fix and got going. It's about 34 seconds. All this work I'm putting into it, I guess, is stupid and kind of counterproductive, but it's almost like collecting pennies to try to save up money. Each joke is like a penny and you've got a jar of pennies and you may have something worthwhile there, but it takes forever. So I'd say I'm about 35 minutes in. Liz Mealy says, I owe my career to social media. Some of her early material went viral and said, it's sort of the best thing that's ever happened to me and the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I started clipping up my jokes over 15 years ago, and that's how I had these viral videos very early in my career via YouTube at first and then Instagram. It's those clips and singular jokes that gained me an audience, but as a storyteller and someone who's more long-winded, you need to know a little about me to even appreciate every joke. I've had people say mean things about me because they have no context. I did a show in Istanbul, and the booker clipped up a joke about my cat dying and me kind of flippantly being like, I don't care. All the hate comments I got, I had to translate them. They were like, you don't deserve cats, you horrible person. And I'm like, whoa, both my parents are veterinarians. I love cats. It's a joke. But because the clip was out of context, I look like a monster, where if you had watched even the first jokes around it, you'd know how much I love my cat and cats in general, how tongue-in-cheek the response was. When you clip it up and take away context, I was getting Turkish hate mail. Will Ferrell's legal first name is not Will. Apparently this bothered him when he was a kid at the beginning of every school year. Will was on Christina Applegate and Jamie Lynn Siegler's podcast. That exists apparently. Will said, this is a minor things in terms of, it's not even really trauma, but I remember feeling so embarrassed because my real name is John William Farrell. So first day of school, I'd be John. The teacher would be like, John Farrell? And it was so embarrassing for me to have to say here, but I go by Will. I don't go by John. Boy, sounds like a rough childhood, huh? Wasn't my choice. My parents named me John, but they called me Will. I grew up as Will, but on a rule sheet, my legal name is John Farrell. I don't know why that was so embarrassing to me to have to explain. I'm actually Will. The self-aware Will Ferrell said, people are going to be listening to this going, that is the lamest thing ever. Are you in Milwaukee? Can you get to Milwaukee? Do you want to be in Milwaukee? Well, today you want to be in Milwaukee. This week, it's the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. We'll be covering that on the Ballot podcast, BALLOT, wherever you get your shows. Funny show. 10 minutes being snarky about the politicians. A lot of fun, that one. Anyway, Comedy Central is hosting Indogcision 2024, Rescuing Democracy. This is a voter registration / pet adoption event in Cathedral Square Park. Today, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. The free event is designed to encourage fans to rescue dogs and democracy. It includes giveaways, doggy swag, pet adoptions, voter registration opportunities, and a meet and greet with members of the Daily Show team and more. Indogcision 2024 being co-host with Headcount, a voter registration organization, and Milwaukee Area Domestic Animal Control Commission, MADAC. Love it. There'll be another one of these in Chicago on August 18th, the day before the start of the Democratic National Convention, so you might want to put that on your calendar. Becky! And look, register to vote. Vote for whoever you want. But if we get to the end of this thing and you're like mad about it and you didn't vote, that's on you. Sort of. I mean, Alex Bennett over the weekend explained how electoral college works, and in some states it's not really going to matter. But vote, especially down ballot on the local stuff. Super important to vote. Tom Green, remember him? He is now a celebrity farmer in rural eastern Ontario. During the pandemic, he purchased a 100-acre property at White Lake. After living in LA for 20 years, his new reality show, Tom Green Country, features his simple post-LA life with a 1,500-pound mule, a donkey, and 6 chickens. The unscripted series is among 7 new Canadian content productions getting the go-ahead for release on Prime Video. Ah, yes, that local Canadian production money. Love it. Ali Sadiq spoke to Cracked and said, people relate to me because I don't win in every story. A lot of people win in every story, but even Superman and Batman get beat sometimes. I always admired Muhammad Ali because he was a 4-time world champion. The point is, he lost 3 times. You can only become a 4-time champion if you lose. You got to lose. Not true. You could, retire, and then someone else gets the belt, and then you come back, and then you could be a 4-time champion without ever losing. I think, Ali, you got to aspire here. He often talks about releasing his own stuff, and he says with other entities like Netflix, they own your special for the duration of it. Somebody owns a part of your life, so me going the independent route is important to the legacy of my children to be able to own the rights to my material, to my life. I was always putting out independent albums. Why not put out an independent special? Remember comic selling DVDs after show? You were putting up some type of money to make that DVD. Just scale it up. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm just taking advantage of the wheel. The new thing with YouTube and the internet and Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, now they're putting a stipulation on young comics. You have to have a certain amount of followers for us to put you on shows. You need to become an asset with your followers. I get it, but are you judging people by Instagram and Facebook and all these things now? These are not marketing people. These are people who do stand-up. I feel like an audience is like a friend, and with my friends, I can tell you the good and the bad. We're going to laugh and cry together. The Guardian took a look ahead at Edinburgh 2024 and wrote, find the funny with these 20 comedy shows. Let's fly through these on a hot Sunday afternoon. Let's see, a show about wealth and relatability. Olga Koch, or Coke, comes from money. Olga stepped into the big league at Fringe in 2023, writes The Guardian, with a show called Prawn Cocktail, pairing sassy tales of transnational hookups with a thoughtful critique of soul-bearing comedy. Next show, Emma Sadie is Sue Gray. Emma cut her teeth way back as a character comic on the Edinburgh Fringe. Now she returns with an intriguing new offering in disguise as the Grand Inquisitor of Partygate turned power behind Keir Starmer's throne. Next up, Bobby Davro's Everything is Funny If You Can Laugh at It. Bobby bounces back after suffering a stroke on stage just 6 months ago. Wow, Rose Matafeo's show is on and on and on. Her first solo show since her prize winner, Horn Dog. Rose's show is expected to be the hottest of tickets, says The Guardian. That's only 4. I'm not doing 20. I'm doing 5, and I'm splitting this up. John, what were you thinking doing 20? 5. We'll do 5. And the 5th one, Demi Adejuyigbe, is going to do one. Demi, a writer for James Corden's CBS show, promises original comedic songs, presentations, and one single backflip. Those are 5 of the 20. I'm not doing all 20. Shows that The Guardian is excited about. I will tell you the others. Don't worry. We're here every day. It's not like there's a cap on the amount of comedy news I can do. Just at some point, I'm like, all right, I'm not going to read 20. And that's your comedy news for today. If you enjoy the program, tell a friend about it. They might like it too. If you're like, John, these commercials, I can't take them anymore. Can you do something about it? Well, I can kind of do something about it, but you got to do something about it. You go to calaroga.com/plus for $4.99 a month. You'll get this show and a bunch of others on the network ad-free, including The Artist. That comes out tomorrow, commercial-free, while you're hearing horrible stories about people being chopped into bits. You don't want to hear Ryan Seacrest telling you about an online casino, do you? No, that would be awkward. So go to calaroga.com/plus and pay the $4.99. Or if you're on Apple Podcasts, they'll put it right in front of you. There's a banner ad there, and you can click on that, and you get this thing, free, 30 days trial. Try it. Why not? All right, I'm silly today. See you tomorrow.